Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm super excited today because we are going to learn a completely new folk art form which is called Manjusha Art, and you can find the details about material and about this art form in the description as well, where you'll find the link for the same video in Hindi, because only on my channel you get tutorials both in English and in Hindi. So do subscribe. So we begin. So before we start with the art form, because it is new, I'll talk about the art form a little bit for you to introduce it. So we are going to make it on a A4 size paper just like this one. But I would like to first show you, how Manjusha art looks like. Because for many of you, it may be a completely new art form. So this is how a Manjusha art looks like. This is a shivling drawn in or painted in Manjusha art form. And there are borders everywhere, and borders especially are very important in Manjusha art. And as you may have noticed, these are the three colors used in Manjusha art, which is green, and the green is used for the outline. As you see everywhere, the outline is only drawn in green, and then pink and yellow are used to fill in colors, just like as you see here. So these are the only three colors that we need today. I'm going to use acrylic paint. As you see, you can use also poster colors to make this painting, but we just need these three colors. Now if you don't have pink, exactly this bright magenta or bright pink, which is a traditionally used color, you can also use red instead of this pink, just like this one, because these days people also make it with red. So these are basically the colors that we need, as we discussed. And this is another Manjusha painting which I purchased. And this is how it looks like. So these are the borders. Again, as I said, borders are very important, and usually borders are also used to decorate the motifs. So you have to remember that it's very important. So now before we begin, I'm just going to show you some techniques or some designs, what are sketched, basic designs, so that you have an idea, and then we are going to make the complete painting. And today we are going to make the painting of a snake goddess, whose name is Bishahri. She's called in the local dialect as Bishahri, and we are going to make that. So we'll see more about it later. But first, I'm going to show you. I'm just using a pen just to explain you things. This is not the final material that we are going to use. So don't get confused by that. So we will start first with the borders, because as I said earlier also, borders are one of the most important thing in Manjusha art. A Manjusha art cannot be made without borders. So you have to always make sure to make that. In fact, multiple borders are used in this kind of painting, folk art. So we start with a very simple one, the first one. So I'm just going to draw a double-lined, frame for the border, where I'm going to show you how to do the border. So first one is called Sarp Ki Ladi. So basically, a row of snakes made together. So these are just S-shaped and joined one another at the end. So as I said, this is called Sarp Ki Ladi. So this is the first kind of border that we know about in Manjusha art. And as I said, Manjusha art revolves around the folklore of Bihula and Bishari, and Bishari was the snake goddess. That is why it is also called snake art, because you will notice that it has many snake motifs inside. And as I said, it is about the snake goddess Bishari. That is why it is also called snake art. So as you see here, as we also discussed earlier in the video, that the outline is only done in green. And this border design will have just green and white. So we move ahead with the other border design. And the next border design I'm going to show you is going to be very simple. These are just wave-like patterns, just like this. And every border design has a meaning. So this wave-like pattern shows the ups and downs in your life. So here we go. We are just going to create inside the double line. So as you see here, you can also have multiple lines inside. So not just double line, you can have more 3 lines, 4 lines, depending on how thick your border is, how thin it is, how much space you have. Depending on that, you can create those lines. So this one, again, I'm drawing more lines inside because I really like it when there are too many lines. And this is also a line art form. Here we go. This is called Laheria. Outline is done always in green, as we discussed, and inside you can just fill it with yellow, pink and green. So these are basically the colors, you will fill inside, which we will see, of course, when we are going to make the painting in the end. So filling will be done in yellow, pink, or yellow and pink, whatever. Like it can be done either or, mixed, or all the three colors are used. So we'll see that when we are making the painting. So this is just to give you a basic understanding of the motifs. This is very, very basic. We will see further as we move on. So here we go. Again, the other border is called Tribhuj. So this is simple triangle motif. Just like Laheria, you can have multiple lines here as well. And this one is called Bel Patra. So this one, just leaf-like pattern, just like a Bel Patra. 3 leaves attached. So this is how we do it. And this is called Bel Patra. So these are the few border designs that are used. Nothing else can be used apart from these designs. And what you should be careful is that with any folk art form, you should not just in the name of contemporary keep adding things without researching or without knowing about it. So always make sure that you know about that art form, learn about it, because folk art is all about the culture from where it has originated. So to learn any folk art form, it is very important to know about the culture, about the basics, what is used, what is supposed to be done and what is supposed to be not done. So that is what I'm just trying to tell you right now. And of course, when we make the painting, we will learn more. Now I'll just show you how to do basic human form. So every human form in Manjusha art is always done in the form of X. So as I showed you here, the whole body will be in the form of X always. So you can't really change that. So some things are going to stay like that. Now it will be your creativity, how you can experiment with it, but sticking to the rules. Like you can't change the outline color, which is supposed to be green. So this is how, the basic things are that we really need to keep in mind before we do any new folk art form. Now for the face, you have to make a sharp nose, 2 curves for the lips and 1 big curve for the chin. And then do the, if you have a female figure, do the veil and strands of hair. And then the eye. So this is how you make the face. So it remains just like that. You can't change that. So that is how we do the face. And some border here, probably for the ghungat or the veil that she has. And for the male, here we go. The same thing. And we just create, the hairstyle different. Then we can add some turban or a pagdi on his head. Eyes remains the same and a mustache. So this is how you do a male figure. So basically, to understand how the basic motifs are created. So these things you can't change, but of course we will learn how to explore and experiment and create new things. So first of all, what I've done is I've taken green acrylic paint. I'm going to slowly add some water to make it a little bit dilute. So I'll dilute it with a little water. And I'm just going to add a little more water because I see that it's not perfect. And that you will know once you mix it thoroughly so that the consistency is smooth. Now I'm just going to use a very thin round brush to first start with the border. So for the border, you need lines or frames on all 4 sides. So this is what I'm going to do. And this is how it should be. Please don't try to use pen and then, of course you can do it. There is no... I can't stop you from doing that. But this is how it's done authentically from a brush. So we should respect this art form and the effort taken by the artist to create it. So you really need to follow the authentic way. So here we go. We are going to do it with paintbrush on all 4 sides, the lines. So probably if you're a beginner, it might be a little bit difficult for you. And you need a little bit practice, but don't worry, don't you should not get disappointed if you can't do it in the one at once or in one go. That's quite normal. Everybody takes time to evolve, but what you should remember is to continuously upgrade your skills and continuously try it. At least give it a try and keep upgrading your skills, improving the technique. So the sarp ki ladi which I showed to you is done on all four sides. I'm going to do the other border, for which I have taken just, I've created the frame, which is approximately 2.2 centimeters. And then I'm going to do that tribhuj, or that triangular pattern that we created. So the snake pattern, or the S pattern, which is on the outside, it is done. And everything, as I said, I'm doing freehand with a paintbrush. So if you really do it that way, it's the right way and the authentic way. But of course, you can choose your own medium, and of course, you can explore. And if you're a beginner, you can, of course, try to do it with pen, learn it in that way. But it's a request from my side that always try to do it in the authentic way. Trust me, it's much more fun. And when you have that difficulty in sketching, because even when I was making it, it took me almost 2 days to complete this painting, because with brush it takes a lot of time. And it was a little tough for me, but when I made it, I felt so proud. So I'm sure you will know the feeling when you do it in this way. So we are done with the borders on all four sides with that triangle. I'm just leaving a little bit space on top, because we are going to make a snake goddess who is Bishahri, as I was saying. So I'm just leaving the top part because I'm going to draw some snakes on top. So here we start with the face, as I showed to you earlier, with a sharp nose, 2 curves, and then a big curve for the chin. So this is the snake goddess, who is called Bishahri, which means, who, it comes from the word wish and hari, and it means that she can get rid, of poison, or your body can be, she is able to remove basically poison from your body. That's why she got the name. There is a, legend behind it. There is a story. If you want to read it, you can check it on my Instagram. I just posted it yesterday, so you can check it there. And I'm going to also post the entire folklore with multiple paintings on my Instagram. You can check it there. So we are done with the face, and now I'm going to show you how to do the body in the X form. So first we start with the hands. So basically the hands. Now as you see, it is very, very simple line art form. So you have to also keep the motifs very simple. Don't complicate things. And this is the hand. So it's very, very simple and naive. And folk art is actually very naive, if you see, because it is mostly the expression of the culture. And also it was done in really olden days. And especially, when such folk art forms started, probably it was like thousands and thousands of years ago. And they didn't have so many resources. So they had a very naive approach to express themselves. And that is what I really like about a folk art form. And that is why I stick to the authenticity and the authentic way to do it, or the authentic technique to do it. So here we go. We are doing the double lines. Now, unlike Madhubani, it doesn't have double lines everywhere. We will see how to, when we start filling in colors, how we separate the colors from each other. Because in Madhubani painting, usually those double lines really work. But here it is a little different art form. Most of the time people confuse it with Madhubani painting. But what you have to really remember is that the green outline. So that is unlike the Madhubani, where most of the times the outline is done in black. But yeah, Madhubani has a liberty of using multiple colors. But in Manjusha art, you are restricted to just 3 colors, which sometimes can be, a little bit difficult. But for me, I think it's quite easy, because you are just going to use these 3 colors. So it makes it simpler. So here we go. We are just adding a few designs like these circles. And as I said earlier, the borders are important. And the border here, as you see, I have used in a bottom wear, or the lehenga, or the ghagra that I made. And then I'm going to do those lines parallelly. and divide the lehenga into multiple parts so that we can add those border designs or the designs inside. Then again, I'm going to do some double lines here because I'm going to create the borders. Again, the S pattern or the sarp ki ladi here. And then we are going to move on and just try to do some wavy patterns here. So it's all about borders. So remember that whenever you are creating any motif, you are going to fill it mostly with the borders inside. So that is very, very interesting, thing about this art form to learn. So I did the strands of hair, just wavy lines there. And then, as I said, I'm just going to do the ghagra. So I created those lines inside the ghagra, and I just extended the veil or the dupatta on the other side as well. So we are just going to make another sarp ki ladi. We are just going to repeat the pattern that we did on the other side, and we are just going to fill it with green and also do the double line later. So here we go. So this is how we do it. So again, filling it with green on this side as well. So just to show you what is going to be done. And just adding tiny, tiny semicircles in the end here. So as I was saying that she is the snake goddess Bishahri, and this entire folk art form revolves around the story of Bihula and Bishari. So we are going to learn about it more, and we are going to see how to decorate now the lehenga with different border patterns. So here I have used the triangular or the tribhuj that we learned. And to see more about the folk art form, you can always follow me on Instagram at Datta Anushri. And there I have posted yesterday only about the story of Bishahri and how she got her name as Bishahri. So it's quite interesting. If you know the story behind the folk art, it is also interesting and you learn more about it. Now I'm going to fill the border with the green. So for that, I'm again, trying to create a small triangle inside and then trying to fill it with green. You can either do that way or completely fill already existing triangle with green. So it's your choice. So after filling it with green, I'm just going to repeat the pattern in the lehenga. So I'm going to leave one blank because there I'll get some other pattern. But here I'm just trying to make bel patra, or just two leaves attached at the corner and then darkening it on the bottom side. So here we go. So these are the common patterns that I used, and it's very simple, as you saw, not much complications, very, very simple art form. But if you do it authentically using a brush, it is a little challenging, and I really love those that part of any folk art form. When you do it authentically, it becomes much more special. So now we are just trying to create kind of a lotus motif on the top, as you see. But this is basically the 5 faces of a snake, So it is a snake with 5 faces. Now, what is the reason behind it? Because Bishahri was the daughter of Lord Shiva, according to the legend, and she was basically, they were 5 sisters. So they were also called Manasa Putri. So the daughters of Lord Shiva in a human form, and of course they could change their form into snakes. So that is why the reason behind this 5 faces of snake. And why did I do the lotus? Because they were initially born in the form of a lotus. So that is also the reason. So in any folk art form, when you draw something, you have to make sure that it means something. You can't just randomly create something. So every folk art form has a meaning. Each and every motif has a meaning. So you have to be careful about that. So here I'm just trying to create the tail of that snake, the big snake with 5 heads. So whenever if you this Manjusha art is originally from Bhagalpur, which is a very small town in Bihar. It's also called Angapradesh. So if you go there during this time, in fact, I think it is during August, or mostly during the Shravan ka mahina, what we call the month. So the monsoon time, there is Bishahri Pooja, and you will see a lot of Manjusha art there, paintings, or those temple shaped manjushas with this painting, which we will talk about more in probably the next tutorial. So today it is about this goddess Bishahri, and I'm just doing the pattern inside the snake's body. So just trying to create checkered pattern as I did on the top, on the face, and we're going to repeat it throughout the body. So here we go, just creating 4 lines, and the pattern is done, and this is how the sketch looks like. And now we know that it's very simple. We just going to use 2 colors, pink and yellow, to completely fill the painting. So it is simple, but that's the trick here once you're doing the background. Now for the background, you have to always be careful to leave a little bit space between the green and the pink. So for that, you have to redraw again basically the entire outline, and you have to be very careful to leave a little bit white space. So when you leave that white space, both when the pink doesn't touch the green border, and that is how the entire motif or the entire painting is highlighted. So this is one way to do it. So that's how we are going to do. So it's another tedious job to create the entire painting once again, if you see. But this time we have the motif all around, so it's a little bit easier. Similarly, we are going to do the pink in the border as well, and we are going to do here inside the triangles. So either you can do completely fill the triangle already created, but I am trying to make another 1 line and triangle, so that that wide gap is there between the green line, and it gets highlighted and it looks nice. So you can do however you want. Here you have that liberty. So here we are going to use the pink inside the blouse. So now when you are combining pink and yellow, that is what you have to take care, where you are going to put pink and where you are going to put yellow, because we are going to do the entire background in pink. We can't have the dupatta pink, so I have planned already that I'm going to do it with yellow. So these things you have to keep in mind while you are doing the painting or filling in colors later. So here we go, yellow for the face, of course. We can't have pink face, so we are going to do yellow face, and then again yellow for these triangles. So look at this, how beautiful and gorgeous these 3 colors look together, and how beautiful it looks once the painting is made. So we are going to do this and repeat it everywhere. So what is your homework is, now all these 3 colors have a meaning, the green, pink and yellow. So you have to go and research about this art form and let me know in the comment section below what the 3 colors mean, so that you read more about this art form and you know more about this form. So all these 3 colors have a meaning. So you have to put down in the comment section below. Let me see who gets the right one. So we are going to do the yellow also in the triangles, the borders that we created inside the lehenga. And we are going to also use pink later. So this is how it should look like. And I'm just putting the dab wherever the yellow is going to come. And now it's done. And now the last part after filling in colors is just that white part of the lehenga which was left to be filled with these. Either you can completely fill it with colors, or I'm just trying to make it more interesting and filling it with a checkered pattern, and then it looks really, really, really beautiful. So how gorgeous just using these 3 colors this art form looks. And for the dupatta, what I have done is created a big dot in the center and tiny little dots all around. So this is another very beautiful pattern which will make the dupatta look very beautiful. So we are almost done with the painting. I hope you like this new art form and this tutorial. Do like this video and let me know in the comment section below. This is how the painting should look like once it's done. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay tuned for much more next week.